Welcome to River City Plus, the River City After Party, the show after the show. And if anybody knows how to put on a show, it is the man sitting right beside me. This is Swerve Strickland. You know him as one of the top dogs in AEW. And Swerve, I'm so excited to have you on River City Plus today.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome. First time, and hopefully you have more.
Yeah, absolutely. Open door policy. Now, we spent most of the show trying to aggressively get you to adopt a kitten on River City Live, but you were a great sport this morning throughout the entire show, and we got to have some really good conversation about the crossover of your multimedia career. You cross over music, athleticism, wrestling, and we're going to get to experience a lot of that in January. But
yes.
Can we hit the rewind button and learn a little bit more about your story and go inside the ring with you? Because I got to hear a lot of those nuggets during commercial breaks, but I'd love for people to get to know you more as an athlete, as a father, as a creator, and how you're creating platforms for other artists, for other people with that light that's shining on you in AEW.
It can go all the way back to like 2009 was when I had my first match in March of 2009 down in Richmond, Virginia. I went down there, got trained after I came back from the military. And I just like did one of those moved down from Pennsylvania to Richmond, just a case full of clothes and a TV and a PlayStation. That's all I needed. I can move it anywhere.
The priorities. I have my PlayStation, I have a suitcase.
As a 17-year-old, that's the essentials.
Yeah,
pretty
absolutely.
much. That's what all you need. So moving around in Richmond, like couch to couch, my mom's place, a couple wrestling trainees, little rooms that they had or whatever. Then I went to this place called Ground Zero Wrestling, and I called them. They said, I have a tryout the following Tuesday. I went in. It all started from there. The first year was like a little difficult because like that was when I just came back from the military, so I was doing drills up in my monthly drills up in Pennsylvania. So I was like a 4-hour drive once a month.
Wow.
My daughter was born. I had to go to ITT Tech for drafting and design. And I had to get a job and training to wrestle all at the same time. So it was like 18. It was just like everything was just cast upon me. And those were like probably the toughest years of not just like my training, but necessarily as like a teenager going into manhood and going into like adulthood.
I was going to say, what age is this? Is this all
18,
in the same time
18,
frame?
19,
So
yeah.
you're taking on almost like a decade's worth of work and commitment and growing up, and you're doing it in a year.
Yeah, and that's why I say like I feel like I lived the life of like a 55-year-old man, and like so far because military, 2 teenage daughters, like 15-year wrestling career at the same time, and 6 years of the military, all completed, all by like 30 years old. So that's where like the workload kind of really started when it became to juggle pro wrestling, rap, making music, a podcast, and like drifting into the acting realm as well. And all while still trying to be a father of like teenagers now. So
well, and they luckily they know everything, right? Like I think Rance can vouch for this. Once they're a teenager, they know everything. If they haven't shared that with you,
no, mine are like very open, and they're open with their feelings, which is really good. Especially as a father and a daughter relationship, 2 daughters, they have like no problem expressing and learning and asking questions, and they come to me a lot for like,
that's great.
advice,
I mean, you want that as a parent. That has to
yeah.
make you feel good as a parent that you've created an environment that they're open communicating like that with you, because the kids are going to ask questions. Now, do you want them asking you, or you want them asking somebody at school or Google, God forbid?
Right. And so far, like I haven't had they don't have issues at school. Never had to like make the emergency trip up there, like what's going on, have that conversation with the teachers and stuff.
Right.
Never had that. So like thank God, like hopefully they continues that way till the day like they're off in college and the real world doing their thing. But other than that, I'm blessed with 2 very like good-minded children.
Yeah.
So but that's where I really learned how to navigate and figure out how to network and really because like you have to figure out like this bartering system. What are the things you can like put on hold for a while and then try this, and then okay, I have this over here, but I don't have the funds for it, but I can do this and get this, and you can have this, and eventually, and that's how I navigate in the entertainment business as well, because not like there's a lot of things that that's not necessarily told, that there's this group of people need things that they just can't get, or they don't have the knowledge of how to connect these dots. But like, well, I know somebody that can do this. I can be the catalyst to bring this over to you guys. Then you can do whatever you want with it. Like, oh wow, let's bring him on the team, and let's look out for this guy, because like it wasn't a financial.
He's connected. He gets it. Yeah.
It wasn't. He's not a financial transaction, but I think we can get so many other things else that we just don't know how to or can't get anywhere else.
So how has that factored into your time with AEW? Because it sounds like you're almost like a Swiss Army knife when it comes to an entertainer. So how do you feel like that's elevated you in such a short amount of time at AEW?
For me, it was the platform. It was Tony understanding, Tony Khan, understanding what I am, what my best attributes are, and that I can bring something, once again, that not a lot of other talents on the show can do in the way that I do it. There's a lot, like you have like a Chris Jericho, who's a legend, who's done, literally at this point has done everything you can in the media for him, and he's well connected. But there's certain things it's just like, oh wow, like I couldn't get that, I couldn't do that. That's something great. So let's bring him on. So like now we have like two guys that can really do these kind of things in two different ways, and that's where I feel like bringing my value to AEW was just like bringing something that a lot of other people don't know how to do it, or they just can't do it the way that I do it. You know?
Yes, you have that special signature. Now, something you mentioned earlier when we were just chatting that I thought was very unique was you said you really have to be authentic, where people will call you on it. And, as in the history of wrestling, people have always loved that the characters that have been created, these really iconic characters. So how do you feel like that stage presence version of you blends in with the entertainer version of you, blends in with Swerve as a man? How do you feel like AEW has blended that together seamlessly with you to make sure that that is authentic? It is a character that you can go and step on stage every day and be and step in the ring and exist as.
Like I said, it's to me, it's the platform, and just like getting any amount of time on a weekly basis, whether it be 8 minutes of live audience with a microphone, or if it's 1 minute backstage, that's time and that's value, and that's value that's being presented to you. For me, it's always like your eyes kind of tell like the aggression, the passion, the somberness. It tells the tone. It can also predict the future a little bit. It kind of can give like a little bit of insight on what's about to come, or it can also be very luring you in, and then like can kind of like be very like, oh, I thought it was going this way, but oh, this is a shifty character.
Right.
It's going a different way now. And that's the fun part to me, just like using your eyes and your facials to really tell that story. And then like transitioning that to music is like you don't have your face at all.
Right.
You don't have any, but you do in a music video, but I feel like the music video comes after the song.
Sure.
So I got to lure you in vocally. How do I do that with tone and sound and frequencies and all these different like instruments to really tell that story in a different way and get a different feel? There's times I want you to feel like you're going on a spaceship ride, and you're just like can sit back and listen to a track. There's times I need you to get up on your feet. There's times I want you to dance and then get your other girlfriends to come together.
Right.
Or there's sometimes you just want to like, there needs to be something to just like, you need to sit and by yourself, and or you can listen to with your parents. You can listen to with your significant other. There's something that then we also need songs that you can like play at a school function and things like that. There's all these tones, and that's where I like really start playing around with a lot of things and learning from like Prophet, who is my producer. He's won 2 Grammys with Kanye West, and have Fireman. I have all these like Chase the Money, who's a producer for J. Cole and JID. So I have all these guys that are also guiding me in the same sense. There's like, hey, I never worked with a wrestler before.
Right.
Let's bring him on the team. I'm like, now you have a wrestler who's like national TV weekly basis. There's very few entertainers in music that really have that kind of platform that can literally do it on a nationally live weekly TV basis. So that's a value right there in their realm. So I'm like, hey, I can take this song and get it on TNT and TBS.
Yeah,
so,
well, and then you had it playing in a national football stadium, you know, which was incredibly special.
Yeah, like I think like once again, those are financial transactions that like could be like worth $50,000 to $100,000 worth of like of promotion. Like, oh, if you give it to me, you don't got to pay nothing, and we can just do it, you know. So
yeah.
So that's like those are those things of like connecting those dots I was talking about, like how I can like kind of maneuver in a way.
It's like the dots and the decimals over here. Now,
Yeah.
Ryan, our fabulous director over there, I have some pretty sweet video that we can pop up as Swerve, because we do have to talk about your time in the ring. Like,
Yeah.
I almost don't know how you fit it in with all the other things that you're doing. So it's impressive how you
I time
balance.
travel sometimes.
Yeah, that's great. Just let us know how to do it, because sometimes we get behind schedule around here.
Yeah.
What matchups are you looking forward to when you're headed into the ring? And like you said, AEW hasn't been back to Daly's Place since early October.
Yeah.
This time you get to come to Daly's Place, and we get to see you in action. So tell us about what you're excited about for people to experience for you.
For one, I'm a big proponent in the arenas. Daly's Place is a very unique, outdoorsy type feel.
Can we just look at this Swerve swag?
Yeah.
I mean, like, and it's such a juxtaposition when I was watching through these. Shout out to Danny for sending them all to us. But just this, like, when you're talking about your eyes, I'm gonna watch this video so differently now. I feel like Tyra Banks would be incredibly proud of the Smize eye work here. I mean, that's. Yeah, of course you have to act. Of course you have to be.
Yeah.
Of course you have to be on TV in different facets. So now that I got distracted by this Meisner versus Method acting lesson for a second, yes, who are you excited about here at Daly's Place?
Oh man, the roster's been incredible, and it's been growing on just my 2 years of being there. This was actually the day after my birthday in my birth city. So it's really cool. Like I get to just do this in like I was born here in Seattle, Tacoma, Washington, Seattle, and then actually perform the day of my birthday. So that was awesome. As far as like opponents, man, there's a lot of people I haven't like crossed paths with yet that I'm still really looking forward to. I just recently faced off John Moxley, who's like one of the aces of AEW from like last 3-4 years.
Right.
Like 3-time AEW World Champion. So that's one of those bucket lists. Like, oh man, we got the main event on TV, national TV, which is really cool. Hangman Page, we just made history with our bloody death match that we had in Full Gear at Los Angeles in November, which is like 2 years to that match happened 2 years to the day that I was let go from my previous place. So it was like one of those like you had the pitfall and then you climbed your way back out to like making history 2 years later to the day.
Yep. Hey, you said they shouldn't have pushed a button, so they got to.
Yeah, that's
they got to find out.
That's the thing. Like I don't get mad. I just go to work, and that's like, oh wow, we could have had that here. Like yeah, oh well. So
coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah. So like that's also that walk and stairs, like very chip on the shoulder type of feel. You feel like like I'm carrying the world of like a lot of like resentment with me to the ring, and that's the kind of like energy I give off, because part of it's very true. Part of it's very true is like I always go with like any doubter that looks at me and looks at that is like, well something's wrong with you. Like, like invest now, or there's no way you're going to get any return on investment if you don't, So with the matchups, and I always look forward to Claudio Castagnoli. He's incredible athlete. I've been looking up to him for like last 10 years. I would say there's some others there's some others that I would say would be man, it's crazy because the ones that I had, I pretty much just had those matchups the last 2 months. And I was like, oh, well, I already did that, so that's already out the door. But I would say MJF for sure, because he's world champion.
Right. Yeah. So we get to experience all of these matchups. Actually,
Samoa Joe too, as well. He's another legend out there. But those are the top two right now that are fighting for the world title, and I feel like I can jump into that mix at any point now, any day.
And they're going to be saying the same things in their interviews. It's like, hey, meeting another legend in the ring. So thank you for bringing your legendary Swerve swag into the studio. I'm so glad that we got to talk about just all the nuances that you bring, like just the subtleties. I think I'll be watching you so differently now.
Yeah.
And just even more engaged with how you do what you do so well. How can we stay connected with you? I know that everybody can go to AEW Tix to make sure that you go ahead and get your tickets for January. You will not want to miss this experience at Daly's Place, but how can we stay connected with you, your music, your podcast, everything you're doing?
At Swerve Confident on all of my social media platforms, youtube.com/Swerve City Podcast to check out the interviews I've had. I've had some like legends in the business and future legends coming up, and I'm going to have some great guests coming up that are not even in the pro wrestling field. It's going to be really awesome. Pay attention to that, check those out, and check out my album, Swerve the Realist, You Couldn't Be Me, on all streaming platforms.
It's definitely one of those add to the workout playlist, I think.
Oh,
in my opinion, definitely.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for listening.
Absolutely. So hit that download button, share some Swerve love. Now you can catch a lot more of Swerve with Scott Johnson on Going Ringside. You won't want to miss it. We're going to take all we can get from Swerve and his swag today here at Channel 4. So we'll see you tomorrow morning bright and early on River City Live and right after the show at 10:15 for River City Plus.